This is the Infinite Receiving Podcast, helping conscious leaders like you tap into a wealth of abundance across all areas of your life and business. My name is Susie Ashworth. I am a single mom of 3 and author of the Sunday Times best-selling book, Infinite Receiving: Crack the Code to Conscious Wealth Creation and Finally Manifest Your Dream Life. On this show, I'll be sharing with you how you can upgrade your identity and your reality to create the life that you have been dreaming of. Because you are ready to be an infinite receiver. Hello, you gorgeous, gorgeous human beings. It is Susie Ashworth here, and you are listening to the Infinite Receiving Podcast. And how are you doing, my beautiful, beautiful friends? Life has definitely been lifing over the last couple of weeks. And I suppose when people have been asking me, like, how am I doing? The answer is good moments and not so good moments, up moments and down moments. And I think probably the most challenging thing that I have been dealing with is the idea of, in inverted commas, getting back to normal. I had a friend who asked me that question the other day, and obviously I know that there was no ill intent with the asking of that question, but it really triggered me because there will be no going back to normal, because we have lost a member of our family, a young child. So there will be no getting back to normal, and life is getting back to normal. Recording the podcast is getting back to normal. The kids being kids is getting back to normal, and it feels so hard for me to acknowledge that when I know that for my sister and her husband, that is so far away from their reality. So to acknowledge that for me feels like distancing myself from them, and I don't want to do that. So it's a really interesting and challenging place to sit right now. But what I am so grateful for is the people who have really shown up as friends, people who have really shown how much they care and have been willing to give without receiving hardly anything in return from me, because I haven't had the capacity, and they have shown up anyway. Some of those people, it's been on a daily basis. Others, it is weekly. And some people are just reaching out now, and all of it is just so welcome and appreciated. So there's my little life update. And now into today's content, which is all about confidence. One of the things that has been super present for us as a team is this conversation around confidence that many of the people who are teetering on the edge of coming into our world, whether that is in the mastermind or becoming part of the certification and retraining, a big part of what holds people back is confidence. And it has been so interesting to see how that shows up. I think that confidence is one of those things that is really wildly misunderstood, and almost our brain closes down in whatever the new area is. There's this idea that, oh, I don't have the confidence to do this, or I don't have the confidence in myself, or when I've got the confidence, then I will make the move. And I think that when we're younger, there's this idea that people are born with confidence. and you've either got it or you haven't. Especially when a child comes in and they're just full of themselves in the best possible way. And sometimes not in the best possible way, but just full of themselves. It's like they were born with that. And whilst I believe that there is a small percentage of the population, no matter what nurturing they received, would have come through big and bold and audacious. I believe that there is a small percentage of the population that are born like that. But for the rest of us, it is a bioneurological feedback loop that is reinforced by taking action. The confidence doesn't come before you do the thing. And when you understand that, you stop telling yourself the story that you are lacking in confidence. And the reason that you're lacking in confidence is because you're lacking in evidence. Confidence is a natural response to you taking action, and then the confidence or the actions, the results of the actions provide you with the evidence that give you the confidence. So the thing that I really want you to take from this is that it isn't a prerequisite to start anything. It's the result of starting. I always remember a story that my mum told me about going to nursery school for the first time. My parents were so nervous because up until that point, I just hid behind my mum's calves. I would like try to wrap myself up in her skirt. I was so painfully shy. And what is interesting, what I believe to be true based on what I know about nurture and nature, is that my parents didn't make me wrong for being shy. They loved on me. And what was happening is because I was being loved on, I was able to create the safety within myself. But because the context of the way that my shyness showed up, that I would get love, I didn't change the way that I acted until that first day of nursery school, when my environment changed, my context changed. And so everything that had been built up unconsciously when it comes to safety in myself came out as soon as my mum went, "Okay, I'm going." She thought that there would be tears and screaming abdabs. There wasn't at all. I was like, "Hi, out from behind the calves. Let's go." And enjoyed being with the kids. This is so not how I felt when I started my business. I wasn't like, "Yay, somebody stop me." I was absolutely petrified, and I had no idea that I was going to be okay. I had no idea that I was going to be okay. But what I decided is that if I was not adequate enough, if I wasn't going to be able to make it work, I would go back to work, because I recognized that I had a skill set that in corporate had served me very effectively. And so I had a plan B. I wasn't confident in my plan A, but having a plan B was enough of what I needed in order to take a risk and go for what it is that I wanted, which, by the way, what I wanted was to just be able to say to my son, "You can do anything that you want in this world," and have him believe that statement because he could see that in action. That's it. My confidence in business came from being in business, which came from originally going against everything that my history told me, which was, you are a high school dropout. All you have got is your A level. All you've got is your GCSEs. You do not know how to complete things. You drop out when the going gets tough. That is what my past history told me. And I had more than enough evidence for that. But what was bigger than the evidence is my why. It was more important to me that I at least gave it a go than to stick with taking action in alignment with the version of me that had got me to that point. I didn't start with confidence. Confidence has come through 12 years of winning and losing. And every time I lost, refusing to allow that to be the end, getting feedback and then changing my actions based on the feedback. That's where the confidence came from. Confidence is neuroplasticity in motion. And every time you stretch yourself even slightly, your brain creates a new neural pathway. Your brain creates a new neural pathway that says, this is who I am now. Small actions reshape your identity. This is where the 1 degree a day comes from. If I can do a 1 degree shift today, over time, those shifts are going to change my entire life. When you wait, what you're doing is keeping the old wiring alive, and you're missing out on the opportunity to earn your confidence. Confidence is always earned. It is never inherited. So what I want you to do is take this in another layer and hear me when I say this isn't a mindset issue. Your confidence isn't a mindset issue. It's a regulation issue. So when your nervous system perceives you to be at risk, you procrastinate, you overthink. Instead of making big, bold moves, you stay small. You refuse to play a bigger game. You undercharge. And the story that you will tell yourself is that it's because I'm not ready. It's not that. It's because your body thinks it's keeping you safe. So how do you build confidence? How do you build enough resilience to take that first step? You regulate yourself first. You remind yourself that you've got this. You remind yourself that you are going to be okay. Give yourself a plan B, like I did. If this doesn't work, then what will I do? If this doesn't work, then what will I do? Regulate yourself first. You make it safe for you to act. And through that action, your confidence will grow. And what's happening as you take these steps, your brain is releasing just this little hit of dopamine. That dopamine is saying, God, well done. You can do this. You can do this. So when you keep stacking and acknowledging even the smallest of wins, what you're doing is releasing the dopamine. The dopamine says, gosh, she's just taken a little risk and she did it and that feels good. Let's do it again. So it is the action and then the chemical response to that action that enables your confidence to grow. You gotta stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is a myth. You are never going to feel ready. It is a decision to move, and you make those decisions after you have regulated, and then you go. We don't want you to make a decision and take action from a really stressed place. So how do you regulate? Just breathe, just slow down, and then move. So this is part 1 of my confidence series. I'm going to come back with a part 2 because I want to talk very specifically about when we mistrust ourselves, when we don't trust that we are willing to take the action, how that erodes our self-belief and how confidence and self-belief are so intrinsically entwined. So I hope today's episode has been useful for you. Thank you for checking in, for being here, for sending the love, and what you can do to support the podcast even more than just listening, is to share this episode with anybody who you think is lacking in confidence to do the thing that they want to do, and just point you in this direction. I would be so deeply appreciative of that. And in the meantime, please remember that faith plus action equals miracles.
Thank you for listening to Infinite Receiving with me, Susie Ashworth. I'd love to share with you my Infinite Receiving activation audio. Go to susieashworth.com/activate infinite receiving.